Hey there, my sensing friend. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel safe within yourself? Do you feel safe to be completely yourself? Just wherever you are, regardless of the people around you. So a lot of people, they don't feel safe enough to really be themselves. And not being yourself means that you're either holding yourself back or you're playing some kind of role, or some inner subpersonalities are being triggered so that you can't really act from a sense of alignment. You don't feel actually connected to who you truly are, so connected to the earth, connected to the universe. You don't feel a sense of freedom to just be whoever you are in the moment. Being completely who you are gives you a sense of freedom, it gives you space. To me, it makes me feel more playful, a sense of freedom. It makes me feel like I can say anything, whether it's some kind of wisdom that I have or a joke that I'm making. Feeling at home also in myself. And of course, the people around me, they make me feel more at home with myself, the people that I feel comfortable with. It also feels like I look forward to life. It's basically a sense of freedom to just be in the moment and feel however I want to feel. And also when I feel bad, that I feel safe enough to sit with that feeling and just allow it to be and know this is also going to pass. This is just here right now, and maybe it comes from something, some mechanism that I used to have. Maybe it's saying something about the current situation, but I can just sit with it and be with it, because that's also part of me. That's part of being human. Being human and being soul, for me, that's my challenge. It's knowing that I'm aligned, knowing that I know what my soul came here to do, and at the same time being human, feeling and sensing everything that is going through me, flowing through me, moving through me, and feeling the freedom in that. So for me, that's what it feels like to be completely myself. I noticed that it took me a lot of inner work throughout the years to get to this point that I can have this freedom in a lot of situations in my life. I don't have it all the time yet. It's a work in progress, being human and being soul, and being able to bridge those two things, which are actually not separate things. They're one thing, but it always felt separate within me. And I notice also that in a lot of my clients that they feel this kind of separation. And it comes from having experienced something earlier in life which has created some kind of protection mechanism or pattern to actually protect the inner child. So these inner child protection mechanisms, they sometimes still come up when we're older. And we notice that they don't work anymore. They hold us back because the patterns, they contain certain emotions, certain thoughts, and they keep coming back. So when you notice that certain thoughts or certain feelings, emotions are coming back, usually they are a pattern. And in order to be able to feel safety, we have to first, of course, welcome our inner child and tell our inner child it's okay to feel those things. It's okay to feel unsafe, maybe, or disappointed, sad, angry, because the inner child didn't have the space to feel all those things when they were little. And that's why they created a protection mechanism, because then in that mechanism they could feel the safety and they were protected against what they maybe experienced as the evils in the world, even though they were maybe our family members or school or friends or society, whatever caused them to not be able to be themselves. So connecting to our inner child is the one thing that we can do. The second thing is to recognize the protection mechanism. So what thoughts, what feelings are coming up, what makes us feel anxious, what makes us feel frozen that we can move forward, what makes us actually flee and go somewhere else, like literally or even in our minds, into another world, just to not to avoid whatever it is that we actually need to face. So understanding and being aware, you don't really have to understand it, but become aware of the pattern is already the next step to it. And everyone has their own pattern. It could be that, you have some kind of addiction. It could be that there's always a certain emotion or thought coming up. It could be anything, and just start recognizing and become aware of it. And at the same time, also keep connecting to the inner child, make your inner child feel safe. And then at one point, you will notice that in becoming safe or setting the space for yourself to be safe, the pattern may start to dissolve. Maybe you need some work for that too. Maybe you need some tools. But in the end, becoming aware of your patterns, sometimes is already enough to make it dissolve. Because by connecting to your inner child, you also become aware of the pain that you used to have. Maybe the pain of not being able to be yourself, the sadness around it. Maybe the anger of not being able to set a boundary, when you were that little. Maybe the fear of being abandoned or rejected. When you face that pain and acknowledge that your inner child used to have that pain, sometimes the pattern will also dissolve by itself, because your inner child feels acknowledged, it feels heard in their hurt. It feels like it gets space to feel all those things. So that is getting to the core. What is the pain of your inner child? And I don't know if you're supposed to always feel the pain again or reconnect to it or acknowledge it, but in my experience and in the experience of, I think, a lot of my clients, it was good to touch that core, to be able to acknowledge for yourself, this was my pain. It doesn't really matter who or what it caused it, but it mattered to me that I was able to acknowledge that I had experienced pain in my life and that I was carrying it with me as well. By carrying it with me, I also kept the pattern alive. But once I acknowledged the pain, it didn't have to be touched again by things outside of me, because I was able to acknowledge my pain. I'm the one who have to acknowledge myself. I'm the one who has to acknowledge what I've been through, what I'm going through right now. So I can be there for myself, which means that I created a safe setting for myself, which means that no one else can touch my safety. Only I can. I can influence my own safety by making sure that I feel safe within, that I am able to acknowledge my own feelings and thoughts and sensations and be there for myself, so I don't abandon myself. And that realization to me was very profound. It was very eye-opening. It created a lot of space and calmness and stillness inside of me. And it made me feel more myself in whatever situation I am. I'm not saying that I'm there yet. But now that I'm going back into the world, because it took me some time, some isolation, now I'm going back into the world, I feel like, okay, I can be myself. I feel lighter. I feel more flowing. I feel more playful. I'm looking forward to life, and I haven't always had that. And I'm hoping for you that you can also sense this freedom, and that you can create this inner safety, because in the end, we all have to do things by ourselves, learn things by ourselves. Of course, we can ask for the support that we need. But I think for our own growth, it's good to be able to learn this independence, self-sufficiency, sovereignty, and it will give you so much more enjoyments in life and in being yourself, and more flow, and get out of the thinking mind, get out of all the emotional patterns, and just be yourself. For women, I am creating this program, a 4-week journey, where you can discover for yourself and learn how to create this safe setting. We're going really deep, so really be prepared and have the courage to also do it, because it will give you so much in the end. We're not only going into safety, but we're going to also into sensitivity and use it as a skill to actually create the boundaries so that you can create a safe space for yourself. We'll also look into how we can stay into our own flow and rhythm, because as women, we all, of course, have our menstrual cycle. And that's actually our natural process in life. There are, of course, different cycles in life, like seasons in a year. That's one cycle, which also has a lot of influence, or can have a lot of influence on you as a woman, or as anyone for that matter. But as a woman, the seasons also can also have an influence on the menstrual cycle. So it's good to take into account and learn about your own flow and your own rhythm. And in the 4th week, we're going to put everything together. How can we stay in this harmony, this inner harmony, in which we keep creating a safe setting for ourselves to be ourselves? And in Javanese spirituality, which we're also going to draw from, safety is not only set internally, it is actually by doing good deeds for the world. It's by creating something with the world. Because the safety that you put into the world is coming back to you. And that's how you create inner safety, according to Japanese spirituality. So we're going to work with that too. And feeling this inner harmony, it's very addicting, because you only want to stay in this feeling. And once you touch upon that feeling, that inner harmony, that spaciousness, the playfulness, the enjoyment of life, you don't want anything else anymore. And you're going to naturally set boundaries. It's not going to be in a harsh way. It's all going to be in a natural way. And I think that's the beauty of Japanese spirituality. It's all based on having the right intentions for yourself and for other people, in interaction with other people and nature and the divine, in whatever way you are connected with that. And in the end, that creates your purpose, because your purpose isn't stand on its own thing. It's in interaction with spirit, with other people, with nature, your environment that you're living in. And in the end, by creating a safe setting for yourself, you will know your purpose. And even if you don't know it, if you can't verbalize it, you will know your purpose for each moment. And at the same time, then my purpose has been served, because I've been helping you with your purpose. So if you feel drawn to this, check out the information and see if we meet each other then.